because we're trying to buy a piece of ground in Alaska. Now you guys need to make us some money so that we can pay for it.
Let's do this.
Turns to the last cut, the richest ground they've ever mined.
Have you ever thought what it would be like to discover the richest gold mine ever? Parker Schnabel has done the impossible. Yes, just 5 minutes ago, he has found the biggest gold mine in history.
Right now, we're at 6,988 ounces.
How did he discover this, and what does it mean for the future of gold mining? Stay tuned as we delve into the details of Parker Schnabel's groundbreaking discovery. This is one story you do not want to miss.
We're hoping to do 1,000 ounces here. We have a lot of stripping to do though. So in the meantime, we've just been stockpiling old drift tailings, so hopefully there's lots of gold in them.
Mitch Blaschke, Parker Schnabel's right-hand man, faces a new task at his Yukon operation. Mine a record-breaking 90 acres in a single season.
It starts getting scary when you think about how much we got to sluice here and how close to the end of the season we are.
Mitch is under pressure to complete this difficult task, especially as the mining season comes to an end. The scope of their goal is enormous, and as Mitch admits, it becomes terrifying when he considers the amount they have to sluice and the limited time available. However, Parker's crew has already made significant progress, having sluiced 60 of the airstrip's 90 acres. This massive task has resulted in approximately 52,000 ounces of gold, an incredible number that demonstrates the team's hard work, but the work is far from completed. The crew still has 30 acres to go, and the clock is ticking.
Now, Sluicifer is 2/3 of the way through the payback cut.
Sluicifer, one of their key sluicing machines, is 2/3 of the way through its payback cut. This cut has been very profitable, adding considerably to their total gold harvest. The machine has been working continuously, day and night, to process the high pay dirt and extract as much gold as possible. Meanwhile, Big Red, another important wash plant, has just begun to move through the vast 24-acre runway cut. This cut is one of the largest and most difficult parts of their mining process. Mitch Blaschke reflects on the difficulty of their task, pointing out that the runway cut is a massive cut. They are processing more than twice as much material as they would normally send to the wash plants. This additional volume is a substantial difficulty, especially as the runway cut is divided into two separate sections, one half wet and the other half dry. The changing circumstances make it difficult to provide a regular flow of material to the wash facilities. Liam Pukala, 25, their latest hire, is feeding material to Big Red. He has the hard responsibility of controlling the feed under less than ideal conditions. The rainy weather and foggy mornings have made the material wetter and more difficult to process, drastically reducing their efficiency. Liam mentions the difficulties of drying out the material. In the middle of these challenges, an unanticipated issue occurs. The grizzly bars, which are critical for screening out large pebbles, start acting up and sitting sideways.
Hey Mitch, these grizzly bars are acting up and sitting sideways. You think come take a look?
Yeah, man, I'll be right there.
This problem could affect their development completely. Recognizing the urgency, Liam contacts Mitch for help. Mitch understands the enormity of the situation and realizes they must stop all activities immediately to solve the problem. These grizzly bars have been significantly twisted and misaligned as a result of heavy use over the last 5 months. Mitch examines the issue and realizes that they require quick assistance to repair the grizzly bars.
Ty, you got a copy, Ty?
Yeah, go for Ty.
Hey man, I need you down here at Big Red right away. We got some big issues with our grizzly bars.
He invites Ty, another experienced team member, to join him at the location. When Ty arrives, he and Mitch debate how to fix the broken bear bars. The frame that supports the bars has twisted out of shape and a hinge has pulled off the hopper. This serious problem forces them to temporarily shut down Big Red, increasing the strain for the team. Mitch and Ty create a strategy to get the grizzly bars back in functioning order. Their fast remedy consists of bending the frame back into shape and reattaching the hinge bracket to the wash plant. This process is easier said than done since manipulating the heavy and damaged metal involves a great deal of effort. Once they've bent the frame back down, they'll repair the hinge bracket and make sure it's secure. To strengthen the repair, they decide to weld a plate to the frame. This additional support is important for keeping the grizzly bars in place and preventing further damage. He eventually completes fixing Big Red's grizzly bars after 6 long hours of labor. The crew lets out a collective sigh of relief as the wash plant roars back to life, signaling that they are back in business. With the grizzly bars restored, the crew expects the repair will survive the remainder of the year. However, they acknowledge the need to make certain changes to avoid such problems in the future. To avoid further damage and assure smoother operations, they slow down the feeder. This change should lessen stress on the apparatus, allowing for a more regulated and steady flow of material. In addition, they decide to divert part of the material to Slucifer and operate the wash facility at full capacity. This method seeks to distribute the load evenly across the 2 wash plants, reducing the possibility of overloading any single piece of equipment. The squad is motivated to make the most of their remaining time in the season, working hard to meet their goals. Mitch acknowledges the enormous hurdles they confront, pointing out that the entire procedure is costly, time-consuming, and physically draining. He does, however, emphasize that if they are to meet their goals, they must sluice the material.
It's expensive, it's time-consuming, it's hard on people, but we don't sluice it, we lose it.
The team's resilience and determination are tested as they continue to work under extreme pressure. Later, Parker Schnabel meets with the team to discuss the current scenario. The team discusses recent concerns, including a near disaster with a rock truck. They describe how the vehicle nearly landed in the water, emphasizing the risks and unpredictability of their business. Additionally, Parker Schnabel's Yukon crew has already mined 60 acres, earning an astonishing 5,372 ounces of gold. This big haul represents their hard work and dedication, but the season is far from done. The team is excited to see how much more gold Big Red can contribute to their total, despite working at a slower speed owing to recent repairs. They carefully measure Big Red's output, and the results look encouraging. The initial run generates around 277.5 ounces of gold. The team is overjoyed with the result, seeing it as a key contribution to their ultimate aim. Their enthusiasm builds as another team member processes more material, obtaining 342.8 Oz of gold. This collaborative effort demonstrates the efficiency and efficacy of their operations, especially in difficult circumstances. It is important to note that the team's method of transferring extra pay dirt from Big Red to Slucifer works well, allowing them to maximize their gold recovery. With further contributions from Big Red and Slucifer, the crew's efforts result in a total of 620 ounces of gold. This remarkable achievement is worth a whopping $1 million. The team's hard work, flexibility, and strategic planning have paid off, pushing them closer to their season goals. The next day, at Parker Schnabel's Indian River claim, Mitch Blaschke faces the difficult job of sluicing a mound of pay dirt before the season closes. With both wash facilities, Big Red and Slucifer, working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, the demand to keep them operational is enormous. To guarantee that the plants are fed consistently, Mitch promotes one of his green crew members from running a rock truck to operating a loader.
Out here learning the machines and how to do things, and he's got a great attitude.
Which is an important step in keeping the material going effectively. However, the constant pace quickly leads to unexpected issue. Suddenly, the factory has mechanical troubles, causing it to shut down. This problem could not have occurred at a worse moment. Parker is returning from Alaska, and with Big Red out of action, the squad finds themselves in a difficult situation. No gold is being processed, hence, no money is coming in. The need to rectify the issue and bring Big Red back up is critical. Then, at Parker's airstrip claim, Mitch and another crew member called Tyson must cope with the consequences of shutting down Big Red. Evans, another member, discovered rocks in the sluice runs, which required the stoppage. This is a severe worry, as rocks in the sluice runs suggest a major issue. Mitch rapidly examines the situation and finds that the screen has most likely been blown out.
You see all these here? That means we have a blown out screen, and it's got to be a pretty big hole for rocks this size.
For boulders of this size to pass through, the hole in the screen must be large. Mitch explains that when huge boulders enter the sluice runs, they create dead zones where gold is not being caught properly. These rocks hinder the flow and settling of gold, resulting in a loss of potential gold recovery. The sluice channels are now scattered with pebbles, and the screen has clearly suffered significant damage. Mitch Blaschke decided to address the issue front-on, stating his intention to handpick the boulders from the sluice runs before changing the screen deck. The materials they are now using are sharp and aggressive pebbles, which are very destructive to screens. Mitch and the rest of the crew are well aware of the impact of these materials moving around the wash plant for hours on end every day. Mitch and Tyson recognized the seriousness of the problem and started to work diagnosing and fixing the screen. They must swiftly repair the broken screen to avoid further delays. This requires removing the old broken screen and installing a new one, ensuring that it is properly fastened to avoid further blowouts. The repair procedure is labor-intensive and time-consuming, but it is critical to getting Big Red back in service. After an organized effort, the screen deck issue has finally been resolved. Evan's careful eye had identified the issue just in time. If he hadn't, additional material would have accumulated in the sluice runs, resulting in wasted labor as the rocks were washed without capturing any gold. Parker Schnabel meets his colleagues to show his appreciation for their hard work and commitment. As a sign of thanks, he gives one of his team members an ashtray made from actual gold.
Parker?
Hey man, happy birthday.
Oh my gosh, for me? Thanks.
It's an ashtray.
Which they mined themselves. The ashtray, weighing 695 ounces and valued at $122,000, represents the rewards of their labor and success. Now the crew is excited to see the outcomes of their most recent work. The first gold from the runway cut is processed, producing 51.6 ounces worth over $90,000. However, the true potential rests in operating Big Red at full capacity for a week, which might yield $500,000 in gold. Meanwhile, Slucifer has been processing soil from the payback cut, with the last cleanup yielding an astonishing 210 ounces. This raises their total to 336.5 ounces, worth approximately $600,000. After finishing operations at the Yukon claim, Parker Schnabel turns his attention to the Fred Lewis's cut on his route to his Alaska claims. Parker states that he divides his time between Alaska and the Yukon, with a focus on Alaska due to large interest there. However, he raises reservations about the outcomes in Alaska, noting difficult conditions and other issues. Parker arrives at Fred's mining location, which is advantageously positioned between Fairbanks and Dawson. Fred wants Parker's help on his wash plant, suggesting that he is having comparable issues to Parker's own business in the Yukon. Parker studies Fred's setup and is startled to see that he just has a series of screens to separate the pebbles from the pay dirt. Parker, on the other hand, has spent around $100,000 on screens for his business this season. This striking contrast in attitude emphasizes the need for good equipment and maintenance in the mining business. Parker recalls a similar problem his crew encountered 3 weeks ago with Big Red. The shaker deck screens, which were supposed to filter big boulders from the finer gold-rich material, had worn down after months of use. This wear enabled the huge boulders to circumvent the screens and reach the sluice runs, obstructing the flow of water and preventing the riffles from capturing gold. He argues that this difficulty has a substantial influence on gold recovery, since even a small flake of gold might be lost when struggling against a rock. Parker emphasizes the importance of the wash plant in the mining operation, claiming that his whole season revolves around its performance. He is disappointed that Fred has not taken better care of his facility, since ignoring such critical equipment can result in significant losses in gold output. Then, a few weeks later, the team faces a difficult task: transporting the completely dressed wash plant. With the season coming to a close, they don't have time to disassemble and rebuild the facility.
Like, you've got a tiny little flake of gold fighting a rock that size.
Okay.
Nothing's coming off your top deck. There's no point to having it, really, is there?
As they begin to move, the sluice runs and shakes violently from side to side. This shaking is caused by any small input being magnified throughout the wash plant. The crew must proceed with caution to ensure that the plant remains stable and undamaged throughout the transport. Their journey leads them to the runway that they built earlier in the season. This runway is a crucial gateway for planes landing in the region. Tyson serves as a spotter because there is no flight schedule or way to communicate with oncoming planes. His responsibilities include keeping an eye out for arriving planes and ensuring that the wash plant does not hinder the runway. They don't want the wash plant trapped in the middle of the runway, risking incoming planes. They continue with caution, guiding the wash plant through the runway with precision and care. The team finds themselves in an unusual scenario as they guide the wash plant down the runway they never thought to use again. The runway, which was initially created with no idea of ever returning to the Panama Canal, now serves as an important entrance for their wash facility. As they cautiously navigate the facility, they wonder about the unexpected twists and turns of their mining operation. While transporting the plant, the team notices an airplane passing overhead, evidently headed for Eureka. Suddenly, another jet approaches, taking them by surprise. Slucifer, with its 32-foot wingspan, provides a difficulty as they travel the lower route. They must enlarge the road somewhat to fit Slucifer's breadth. Mitch and Tyson arrive at their final objective, the Panama Canal, after almost 2 hours of cautious handling. The most difficult aspect of the relocation is yet to come, lifting the big wash plant onto the pad. Mitch takes it slowly, aware of the plant's weight and the pressure it places on the equipment. The 750 strains under the weight of Slucifer, illustrating the enormous difficulty of transporting such large equipment. Mitch's final step after properly positioning Slucifer on the pad is to rotate it 90 degrees into place. This is the final sluice for the wash plant shift of the year, and the team is overjoyed to have it in position and level. Their hard work and thorough planning have paid off, and they are excited to attach the 12-ton super stacker that feeds cash to the plant and start it running. Mitch shares his joy, claiming that this is the first scoop from the Panama Canal to pass through Slucifer. The team is excited as they prepare to begin processing pay dirt from their new location, hoping for a successful run. As the season advances, Parker's Yukon crew considers their progress. So far, they have accumulated little under 6,000 ounces of gold, falling far short of last year's stunning 8,300-ounce total. Parker is confident about the season's result.
We almost had an airplane land on the pre-wash Slucifer.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Who has the right of way when you're moving a wash plant across the runway?
We were kind of wondering the same.
Citing the latest gold from 3 separate cuts, including Slucifer's first run in the Panama Canal. The initial results are promising. They retrieved 300 ounces of gold from Big Red on the runway cut, which was worth more than $500,000. Next, Slucifer's remaining gold from the repayment cut delivered 109.9 ounces, or roughly $190,000. Finally, Slucifer's first gold from the Panama Canal cut weighed 159 ounces. After only 3 days of sluicing, they had already provided $270,000 in gold. The next day, Mitch emphasizes the necessity of their presence on site. They must swiftly fix any concerns and restart normal operations. He suggests an all-nighter to the group, anxious to finish the last leg of work. For the final push, Mitch and Tyson will drive Big Red into the cold night. Chris uses tarps to insulate the sluices, hoping to avoid freezing with a pair of turbos. They are on the last lap at 1 a.m., with temperatures nearing 14 degrees. However, another crew member has a blockage in their feeder, most likely owing to the chilly weather, but they somehow solve the issue. The final day, Parker and his crew assemble to go over the results. Parker expects to deliver 8,021 ounces of gold in the last week, breaking last year's record. First, they take 388.5 ounces from the runway cut, which is worth more than $660,000. Next, in the Panama Canal, they discover 248 ounces, valued over $410,000. Their total for the week is 629 ounces, bringing the season total to 8,118 ounces, which is over 200 ounces less than previous season. Nonetheless, they've acquired approximately $14 million in gold. As Parker Schnabel and his crew complete another dramatic season of gold mining, they reflect on the hurdles they've conquered and the accomplishments they've had. Despite difficulties and unanticipated challenges, they were able to relocate their wash plant, Slucifer, and recover significant amounts of gold from the earth. From the runway cut to the Panama Canal, each location provided new difficulties, but the team's hard work paid off. If you want to find out more about Gold Rush and Parker's crew, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching.